No work for a few days on Brick House because we were going deep into the interior of Tanzania. We're not used to getting up this early in the morning, but we have a very long day ahead of us. 8.5-hour bus ride to Mikumi National Park. We are in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, along the east coast of Africa. And today we go on safari. The word safari in Swahili means journey. But first we call Uber, and we have a choice of a car or a tuk-tuk. Tuk-tuks are cheaper, they're more fun, and I like helping out the little guys. Certainly Rebecca's more cheerful in the morning than I am. Once we get to the bus station, everybody is our new friend. There's a lot of people here that work as ticket agents, and they work for a specific bus operator. They charge extra money for the ticket, pay off the bus owner, and then pocket the difference. So we negotiated the price down to about 1/3 what he originally wanted. Actually, it was just a little bit more than what a local would have paid, and everybody went away happy. The only problem is we were on the wrong bus. It was going to the right place, but would not leave for another hour and a half, while other buses already left for the same destination. It's tough being a tourist sometimes, but it gave us a chance to catch a little nap and also watch the people going by selling whatever they had to offer the people sitting on the buses. This lady came on the bus to sell things, and she had such a nice smile, such a pleasant manner about her, we had to buy something. But eventually the bus was off and finally moving. When the bus stopped in one of these small towns, it was not a bathroom break for anybody. It was just there long enough to get people off and more passengers back on the bus. And the sellers outside the windows had a very limited time to offer what they had. And if somebody thought that we weren't paying enough attention or didn't get a close enough look at what they had to sell, well, they'd give you a whiff of it. Then the bus rolled out again. What we thought were giant pineapple plants, because there are some very large, very sweet pineapples that are grown in Tanzania, actually turned out to be thistle plants. They use the fibrous material inside of the leaves to make natural fiber rope, natural fiber doormats that we put outside of our front door, paper, all kinds of things. Tanzania and Brazil are the two largest thistle producers in the world.
Patrick, that was darn close to interesting.
Cool. 6.5 hours into the bus ride, fortunately it broke down. This is just what a lot of passengers were hoping for, and it gave everybody a break along the highway. It took about 45 minutes for the engine to cool down, put more water in it, and we were off again. The bus eventually dropped us off at the entrance to Mikumi National Park, where our new guide and friend Masu picked us up and drove us to the park headquarters where we could fill out the paperwork and pay our entrance fees. The land is parched. It's mid-November, the height of the dry season, and there will not be rain until maybe January.
So now we go to see the buffalo, lions, giraffes, elands, wild beasts, and others. Maybe today we can see the leopard.
This is mid-afternoon. The sun is high. It's very blazing hot. The temperature is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius, and the land is so parched. All the natural water holes are just cracked and dried up. The streams that would normally run with water have absolutely nothing to offer. Even the man-made water holes are drying up. Animals would be in a hard way if they did not have man-made water holes to go to. This is the time of year that they set fire to some of the grasslands so that when it rains in January, everything will come back very strong and very green. So this is the time of day all the animals are looking for shade anywhere. Even this palm could use some shade. and some fresh water. So these giraffes found themselves a nice bit of shade. These impalas found themselves a nice thin strip of shade underneath this tree. But these impalas found some safety in numbers, foraging next to the wildebeest. With all those eyes and ears and the broad shoulders of the wildebeest, the impalas feel a little more secure from the lions, but they probably know also that the lions generally stay in the shady areas of the trees this time of day and feed more in the evenings and in the mornings. Well, we've seen so many animals, so there's plenty of food for the lions to eat. And how often do they need to kill like a gazelle or some small deer?
They killed, if they killed, they're eating today. It was not eating again. They're eating another week.
Another week?
Yes, because they're eating per week.
Yeah, okay.
Per day we eat the 35 to 75 kilos.
That's a lot of meat.
So,
in the background, you can see some of the buildings of where we stayed inside of the park, and there's actually a lion in this picture. And that's why they ask us as guests in the evening, don't go walking around the compound, stay inside your room. And Masu says whenever you're looking for wild animals, never look for the whole wild animal. Just look for the ear, the tail, just little parts of the animal, or a horizontal line, which horizontal lines don't happen very often in nature. This was a comfortable little 2-unit building. They had air conditioning, a TV that we never watched, mosquito nets over the bed, but just beyond this room is where all the nature is running wild. There are no fences. Every morning the clouds were very dark, very heavy, looking like rain was about to happen. But it never rained a drop, it just stayed dry. So as we were moving along in the Jeep, we saw animals all heading off in one direction. These elands, the wildebeest, zebras, and even the giraffes were all on a mission, going somewhere. And this is where they all gathered. One of the few man-made watering holes. And if it wasn't for these man-made watering holes, these animals would be in a very difficult situation. Like ants, these animals just kept coming and coming and coming. Hundreds and hundreds of them. One little spook and everybody goes scattering. Hippos feed at night, so they really don't do much during the day but wallow around in the muddy water and blow bubbles out of both ends. This is a tsetse fly trap. To me, tsetse flies look like what we would know in North America as horse flies. They're big and they suck your blood, except tsetse flies will leave behind a protozoa that gives you sleeping sickness. On this trap, the black section is coated with a substance that'll make the tsetse fly unable to reproduce, and eventually they just all die off. So around noontime we took some lunch, and then we all got in a little siesta, just like our friend Masu, and then we went out and looked for more animals. And late in the day, it was time to head home. Thank you, Masu, for a great time and a fantastic education.